Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
They're referred to as the golden years, that happy-go-lucky time in life where you and hopefully your partner of many, many years finally reaches the light at the end of the tunnel. A time in life where the two of you can now relax on some sandy beach in paradise and just take it all in. The golden years, that point in life you are retired from a job that maybe you worked for 30 or 45 years, maybe a job even you didn't really love, in hopes of retiring one day to be in paradise. Well, guess what, folks?
Surprise, surprise, surprise!
Not quite so golden, are they?
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money. The WorryFree Retirement. Your host, nationally recognized retirement specialist, 5-time author, and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
Welcome to the WorryFree Retirement. I am that little man in the sweater vest, retirement planning specialist and fiduciary, Tony Walker. And today we conclude our series of Monitor Your Progress by looking at that stage in life referred to as the golden years, a financial phase in life we tend to like to refer to as the second half of life. You know, day in and day out, all I do is meet with different peoples of different backgrounds, people who have worked hard or may still be working in order that they might plan and save for retirement. In fact, today, as we record this show on Tuesday, November 19th, 2019, I think back to yesterday when I met all day long and into the evening. I had over 20 appointments. That's 20 appointments in one day, with the majority of those people we meet coming in at what we call halftime. That is, they have not quite retired or they've recently retired. Yet I still see folks that are already retired, that time in life when they're supposed to be at a point where everything is perfect and the good times are rolling. Well, guess what? The reality is that in the second half of life, things can be much more different than a retiree has planned for. You see, planning for the future is tough business. That's because, as we have discussed in these past few weeks, no one, including yours truly, can accurately predict what the future holds. You know, the best laid plans may or may not happen. Change is inevitable, and this is why you need a retirement planning specialist such as us that is trained and experienced to take you to retirement, but more importantly, through the end of retirement. Planning for retirement, it's serious business. The second half of life is not just about financial products. It's not just about annuities or the stock market or the latest CD rates. All of that plays a role in the second half, but in the end, all that matters is, did you make the most of your life? Can you truly say, looking back with no regrets, that you took every step possible to get the most out of your money? And here's the definition of the most out of your money. Did you do everything possible to use and enjoy that money while you could, and then in the end, leave as much as you could to loved ones? So what are the changes that will take place in these golden years in the second half of life? What really does happen now or when you retire as you move through this phase we call the second half of life? Well, guess what? Regardless of your age, whether you're in the first half, halftime, or second half, or maybe you have loved ones or parents who are now in the second half of life, you're going to want to stay tuned and see how we experience and help our clients deal with this second half. When I return, we're going to show you what we at Tony Walker Financial do and how our proprietary software and our staff can keep you and your family on the same page through retirement. You're watching the WorryFree Retirement. I'll be right back. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a buyout? Has a company you work for recently moved or been acquired or closed its doors forever? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k to safer territory. Why continue to risk your hard-earned money when you don't have to? Let's meet in person today to discuss your retirement options. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your no-obligation appointment to meet with me in person. Do it today. Several weeks ago, I had our in-house fiduciary, Heather Hughes, in our Louisville studios to talk about our process for helping our clients monitor their progress. We talked about how we do that and when is the best time that we tend to meet with our clients. You see, we continue to be with our clients long after the sale, well into the second half of life. You know, anybody can help you roll over your 401k, but what we want to do is continue to monitor your progress for you and your family. So let's take a minute. We're going to go back in time a little bit. This is pre-recorded, but good stuff. Again, this is myself and Heather Hughes from Tony Walker Financial. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement, and we're talking about this idea of staying in touch with your advisor, monitoring your progress, and making sure that you understand that retirement is a lifelong plan. It's not just about rolling your 401k over and then calling it quits. With us in the studio, we have the pleasure of being with fellow fiduciary, all the way from Bowling Green, Heather Hughes. All the way from Bowling Green. You did some shows last week. We appreciate you sticking around because I wanted you to cover what we do in our offices at Tony Walker Financial, the fifth step of our process, which is monitor your progress. Give people a feel for, in fact, let me show this. Let's show some footage of our recent client dinner. We had, 650 people at this. As you can see,
there were
folks.
A lot of people.
Was about a third of our clients.
True.
Yeah, so as you look at this and you go, wait a minute, how do these people take care of all the clients? Well, first of all, thankfully, we've got a really good process.
Right.
But secondly, we have yourself, myself, my favorite son-in-law, Trey. We have a great staff. So kind of walk us through what you see when people contact us, current clients who need help just kind of going through things.
Yeah, a lot of times it's just reassurance. We've put together a solid retirement plan for them, a game plan for what they're going to do in their next half of life. And a lot of times they'll like, am I still doing okay? Or am I still on track for what we had planned? So a lot of times it's just assurance. Other times it's triggering points. So there's certain life things that happen and
let's take a look.
they need to kind of talk about.
Yeah, cover those one by one because these are interesting.
Sure, absolutely. So not all of our clients are retired. So when they are ready to, flip that switch on retirement, they're ready to roll over their 401k, pension, any kind of other IRAs out there.
This is a biggie too. People want to know, do I take lump sum or installments? We can help with that, can't we?
And that's not a flat answer. It's very situational specific. So yeah, we'll work through that with you. We're seeing this more and more in the office, inheritance. A lot of our clients have elderly parents that are passing away and they're coming into money and they need to know what to do with that and how to handle it. Much like taxation on annuities, there's some tax issues possibly with inheritance, and we'll set up a game plan for that as well. Update estate plan. A lot of times that's one of those things you kind of just push to the side. Don't want to deal with it. It's so much fun about
talking about death.
Yeah, we do it all the time, but it can be an uncomfortable conversation. We've got estate plan navigator. We can help you through that, or kind of just see if things are up to date. This is another key issue. When you're ready for retirement, Social Security, when to take it. We've got Lisa Allerkamp in our office. Yeah. She can run numbers for you to say, what's the key time, And that's a biggie. Everybody always comes in and says 62, 70. That's definitely a no one size fits all, right? It's different for different people. No, and it's very, again, we tailor everything to the client. Mm-hmm. So we look at everyone's individual situation, look at all of the pieces of the puzzle to see how all of these are going to fall into place and work for them. Trey, and you're here in the Louisville office. It does a lot of the life insurance and long-term care.
People forget about that. We do a lot of that too.
We do.
So yeah, folks, if you have an old life insurance policy, looking at life insurance, looking at long-term care, we do that type of thing as well. So,
right, absolutely.
All right, keep going.
Earn a better return on money. A lot of times I'll get calls from clients, hey, I've got a CD coming due. What can you do for me? What are your rates?
Especially safe. Yeah, they want to keep it safe.
Yeah, they want to keep it safe. And, we're seeing CD rates, they're pretty dismal right now. So, we can look at maybe some alternatives as far as either a money market in the Schwab account or maybe some fixed interest annuities if if it's suitable for them.
And I just thought about something too on that. Earn a better return on your money. A lot of times too, if we can save fees. So even if it's a brokerage account,
right?
We ran a plan the other day that you did for me, Heather, and I presented it yesterday. We were going to save this person $4,000 a year. So you don't think of that as a return on your money, but it's the same thing.
Totally,
that's $4,000 in their pocket. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of cool. What about here?
Oh yeah. So, I mentioned that earlier. They're ready to retire. So we're going to implement the plan that we have in place, possibly, or make some tweaks to it.
Yeah.
You know
My favorite.
Yeah, you love dealing with that tax tumor. So, that can be gifting. It could be Roth conversions, could be spending it now. There's a lot of options we've got to deal with the tax tumor on those qualified accounts. This is one of my favorites, though. And
Actually, Leanne's helping you.
She is. But
describe that too. What is that exactly? And then in our office, how we handle that maybe differently than
absolutely.
A lot of advisors.
So what that means is approaching 70 and a half. That's key age. It's when you start required minimum distributions. They're referred to as RMDs. And it's when you've got, the IRS is going to say, hey, you have tax deferred this account for so long. It's time to start paying the government some. So it's just a calculation. You have to take a small amount of your IRA out, pay taxes on it, put it on your tax return. We've got strategies for that too. If you wanted to avoid paying taxes on that, we could look at some qualified charitable distributions, But we also look, again, the whole holistic approach. If you've got multiple IRAs, we can pick which account to take that from. You don't have to take it from all of them.
That's been the key, I think, too. A lot of people did, and it's really given us a lot of flexibility. We have, with our Schwab platform and the annuities, we've really figured out a good mousetrap there to help people even deal with this and get a little more creative on how to do those distributions.
There's a lot of things we can do with that. So, and we can even implement some of that to pay for long-term care. There's just a lot of options out there. Protect assets from nursing homes. We've
and some of that we kind of job that out, but we have resources for that, folks. Same way with the Medicare supplements. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, you're fine.
We do that, but we job some of that out. What we're trying to do, folks, is we want to be your one-stop shop for all your retirement planning needs. And I think our clients have realized that they can come to us for about anything. Once they get into retirement, that's our sweet spot. We know what we're doing there, and we are here to service folks. Anything else you'd like to share with our viewing audience about maybe they're not clients right now? What's the best thing for them to do?
Well, yeah, absolutely. The first step I always think is just meet with us. Kind of share what you have. Let us put a plan together for you, and that way we can kind of give you the whole experience of what it means to be a client of Tony Walker Financial.
Well, Heather, thank you so much. You did a
so
great job
welcome.
as usual.
Well,
You're
you.
getting to be an old hand at this already.
I
Thanks.
know.
So, folks, I'll be right back. We're talking about surprises, monitoring your progress. The biggest surprise I see in the practice of Tony Walker Financial with many prospective clients is coming right up. You stay tuned. You're watching the Worry-Free Retirement. Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. We care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started.
Worried about running out of money in retirement? For a limited time, 5-time author and retirement specialist Tony Walker is making available his latest book, Mailbox Money for Life. For your free copy, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. And the purpose of this show is really twofold. Number one, obviously, we want to introduce you to our services at Tony Walker Financial in hopes that we could possibly work with you. But secondly, this is an educational show on money. In fact, we're in the last series of the Monitor Your Progress series, our last episode, and you might want to go back and watch previous episodes. Well, guess what? Aaron and Megan here in the studio have put those on our YouTube channel. So here's how you watch previous episodes. You go to youtube.com and you just type in Tony Walker Financial. Now, another cool thing we've done on our website, you can go look at some of our blog posts. We've got all kinds of past videos, white papers, all kinds of educational opportunities. To check out our blog post, you just simply go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. So check that out. All right, keeping in time here, we got to keep moving. This is a great Tony in the trenches. I want you to read this. Look at this question. This came in the other day, and you might say, we're at the second half, Tony. Why are you quoting a 55-year-old? Because what I'm going to show you is you've got to plan now so that when you get to the second half, folks, you're not going to have any regrets. This is a 55-year-old who's basically been offered a lump sum pension. They're saying they've got a 401k. They're wanting to possibly move all that money to us, but since they're 55, this person would like to retire. They've heard that they can't spend their money because they're under 59 and a half. Well, if you don't know what you're doing, that is a problem, but we do. There is something in the tax code called a 72T election. We know how to do these. We've done them for years. So here's what I would say. If you're under the age of 59 and a half and you want to set up a game plan so you can use and enjoy your money now, for instance, this person, I know I've met with people who have said this, Tony, I'm 55, man, I got bills to pay. I got kids to put through college. We got to pay for a wedding. What if we don't need all this money one day? See, I'm finding out people have too much money stockpiled. So our job as retirement planning specialists is to help you figure out how to use and enjoy the money now. All right? So we can do that. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com if this sounds like you. All right, keep moving here. Real quick, Megan, if you would. This is our income software. Now, last week we covered what the software looks like and how we lay this out for someone at halftime. But look at this. In the second half of life, in this example, we have two different ages of this couple. And at his age 65, he stops working or she stops working. It doesn't matter. But notice now all of the money we've set up begins to be deployed. It begins to be implemented. And what we're interested in is how much income are we going to have to live on? You see, folks, cash flow is king when it comes to retirement planning. The retirement planning specialist you work with has to understand the ramifications of when to take the money out, how much taxes are going to be owed, and how to keep from running out of it. This is proprietary software. I had this created because there was nothing like it. We're not doing calculations. We don't need a calculator. We need something that puts you, our staff, and your family on the same page so that we know what to do when things change, because change will come. You know, speaking of change, there are basically three big, huge surprises that I've figured out in working with so many savers in the second half of life. Let's take a look at three of the biggest surprises we see. Number one, this is a good one, that you're going to start spending less and less as you get older. Now you may be saying, well, that's not what I've heard from the financial world, Tony. They keep telling me I got to save more and more. And I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute, at some point, you're going to get to an age in life where you're not even going to probably buy green bananas anymore. You're not even spending so much. So listen to me. Except for some sort of healthcare crisis, I get it, but you're going to spend less and less. Are you listening to me out there, you 55-year-olds? You're not going to need a gajillion dollars in retirement. You will spend less and less. Here's the second surprise that I see over and over with second halfers. This is a good one. Health will worsen more quickly than you think. Now, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but I have a lot of clients in the second half of life, and you can bet your bottom dollar as they age, what happens is they come into me and one of the spouses is starting to have health issues. In many cases, it happens very quickly. So all I'm trying to do is remind you from a perspective standpoint that as you get older, you'll spend less, plus you may not be able to spend any more anyway because of health. Let's take a look at this. Think about this. If you go to Disney World, we go to Disney World a lot, and look around, how many 75-year-olds do you see there? Well, if you see them, they're not running around. They're probably on some park bench wishing they were back home. I was invited out to Iowa to meet with a large company. We needed to talk about some things. They treated me to dinner at a really nice steakhouse. I started looking around. I mean, these were $50 steaks we were eating. And I thought about this. I said, there's nobody in here over 65. That's because most people in the second half of life are not going to waste a bunch of money on a $50 steak. Now, let's go to surprise number 3. You're getting the drift of this. You may be busier than you think. You know, you may be busier with different things. More and more people that I meet in the second half of life are enjoying being with their grandkids. They're doing busy things, unfortunately, like having to go to the doctor, keep up with things. So you will get busier. It's just a different kind of busier. So here's the point, folks. We want to set the stage for the second half of life. We want to plan for today, but also live for tomorrow and try to enjoy the fruits of our labor while we can. If you're sitting there and you're saying, Tony, I don't really have anybody that's helping me spend and enjoy my money. All they want to talk about is save, 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 and then they don't want to give me any of my money back. Well, that's not the right approach, and that's not how the real world plays out at all. I've been doing this for over 35 years, folks. I've met in person with over 15,000 people. I've personally overseen over 4,000 game plans. I know this world very well. So if you're looking for somebody you can trust, log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. At no cost or obligation, I'll be happy to review your situation, regardless of your age, whether you're retired or nearing retirement. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Well, when I return, I'm going to share with you the little secret the Bible shares with us about how to use and enjoy your money while you can. Good stuff coming up. You're watching the Worry-Free Retirement. Got to get me a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a buyout? Has a company you work for recently moved or been acquired or closed its doors forever? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k to safer territory. Why continue to risk your hard-earned money when you don't have to? Let's meet in person today to discuss your retirement options. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your no-obligation appointment to meet with me in person. Do it today. Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. You know, we care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Do you like bacon?
Bacon's the best. Even the frying of bacon sounds like applause. It's like,
Well, not only do I like bacon, I love bacon. So does my mom. Let me explain. As we speak, I'm just putting the finishing touches on my 6th book scheduled to be released in the spring of 2020. This unique piece of work will summarize my views on life and money and what I've discovered in the balance that we all must strike between using our money now while we can, but also saving enough for later just in case we need it. Now, one of the chapters of this book is actually entitled, Life is Too Short to Eat Cheap Bacon.
bibbity bobbity bacon!
You see, my mom, who is definitely in the second half of life, is a very content individual who has learned to get by on very little income. She is very frugal. She lives in the same house that I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky. She drives a 20-plus-year-old car and basically needs very little and spends very little. However, as tight as my mom is with money, one thing she will never scrimp on is good bacon.
Eureka! Bacon!
Recently, while visiting with clients in our Lexington office, I spent the night at my mom's house, only to awaken early that morning to some fried eggs and some, more importantly, fresh bacon. You see, the last time I spent the night with my mom, she treated me to bacon, and it was good, but I could tell she was not impressed with that bacon. So when I grabbed this luscious piece of bacon on the plate and took a bite of it, she watched me anxiously and said, "Well, how is it?" I responded,
Yay, bacon!
Better yet, she then goes on to smile and say, "Well, it better. I just spent $10 on that pound of bacon." So what's the point, Tony? The point is, folks, life is too short to eat cheap bacon. Now, the Bible addresses this, believe it or not. James 4:14 says, "Yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away." There are no do-overs, folks, in life. No more bacon after this life. And while I realize bacon is not good for you, and some may try to put you on a guilt trip for eating it,
Our rules, no killing, no bacon. Ooh.
the fact remains we are only here for so long, and yes, we should have the freedom to enjoy a $10 pound of bacon every once in a while. I mean, why not? And while some might try to judge whether my mom of limited means should be squandering $10 for bacon as opposed to buying some of the $3 stuff, it's her money, it's her life, and if she wants to treat her son to some nice bacon, again, why not? I call this phenomenon, though, of people not wanting others to spend and enjoy their money, the guilt trip gospel. The Apostle Paul knew a thing or two about people telling you what you can and can't do and putting you on a guilt trip. Paul knew that Christians who were free to enjoy the liberty of being a part of the body of Christ would be chastened by the old religious leaders who still wanted everybody to do what they wanted to do. Yes, even whether they could enjoy a good slice of bacon. In Galatians 3:1, he refers to Christians who get dragged back into the law of the religious folks as foolish. He follows up that statement with an important question. He says this is the only thing I want to find out from you. Did you receive the Spirit by the works of the law or by hearing with faith? Are you so foolish, having been by the Spirit, are you now being perfected by the flesh? James 1:25 deals with this very issue of the guilt trip gospel, saying, but one who looks intently at the perfect law, the law of liberty, and abides in it, he's talking about Christ, folks, not having become a forgetful hearer, but an effectual doer, this man shall be blessed in what he does. You see, folks, what God intended was for us not to live under the tyranny of a law that we couldn't keep. He never intended for man to rule over man's spiritual well-being. That's his job. And he's already accomplished this mission by sending us Christ. He is our new freedom, and he wants us to be obedient to him, not to laws and regulations of man. And of course, we are free to enjoy our bacon. The moral of the story is this: you and I are but vapors. We're not going to be here forever. And the biggest decision in life is not whether to spend $3 on a pound of bacon or $10 on a pound of bacon, but rather where are we going to place our spiritual trust, in man or in Christ? A renewed way of living which allows us to enjoy the gifts, the fruits of God that he's provided us without feeling guilty. I would say amen to that. Well, how about you? As we conclude this series on monitoring your progress, do you have an advisor in your corner whose goal in life is to help you use and enjoy your money without feeling guilty about it? Well, if not, why not? Look, don't let others continue to put you on a guilt trip gospel. Let's meet to see how our philosophy, the Worry-Free Retirement, could help you use and enjoy your money while you can. So whether you have money in the bank, a 401k that needs to be rolled over, maybe you've been offered a lump sum pension, maybe you've got some money invested with somebody that doesn't seem to be monitoring your progress, let's talk. And best of all, to meet with me in person or talk with me by phone, there is absolutely no cost or obligation. So here's what you do. Just simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and click on that Let's Get Started button. Once you click on that, that information is confidentially sent to our offices. We will then follow up with you to see how we might help. I will either talk with you by phone, or if it warrants, I'll be happy to meet with you at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. Do it today. Log on now at TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's program. I'll look forward to seeing you next week on the Worry-Free Retirement. But you remember, between now and then, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.